So we might kick off proceedings. By way of introduction, guys, my name's Gianna Tavio. I'm the Global Partnerships Lead here at Amaka, and I'll be joined today by Muhammad Ali, the Principal Solutions Architect at DocuSign. And today we'll be covering the topic of getting your Xero document signed faster with DocuSign and the integration that has been rolled out by Amaka in partnership with DocuSign. Now, guys, throughout this, we will give a quick high level on both Amaka and DocuSign as a business and the partnership as well. But we definitely know that you guys want to be digging into the content of the integration. We'll also be showing you guys a walkthrough of the different configuration settings that the integration actually permits. And we'll also be showing you how a live customer is actually benefiting from automation by use of the Xero to DocuSign integration as well. Throughout the webinar, feel free to leave questions and we will be going through them as part of a Q&A at the tail end of the webinar. So we might just quickly jump into a bit of introduction. So as a high level, my name is Gianna Tavi, as I mentioned. I lead the global partnerships effort here at Amaka. I work very closely with our global providers that we've delivered partnerships and integrations for. And as a high level, Amaka is a software as a service company that specializes in accounting integrations and automation software. So, we were founded out of Sydney, Australia back in 2017. And since then, and a result of our sophisticated solutions, have expanded quite literally globally. We now have a team presence across still Australia, but also Europe, the US, and Southeast Asia. We're trusted by over 60,000 small businesses, accountants, and also bookkeepers to automate their existing manual processes that have historically plagued the accounting, financial, and also small business sector. Our range of integrations basically spread across both the point of sale, e-commerce, and e-signature sectors, and we provide reliable yet deep and sophisticated solutions that help small businesses and also accountants save valuable time and money. I now hand over to Mo to give a little bit of a high level around DocuSign.
Thank you very much. Mo here, Principal Solutions Architect, and I'm a part of the DocuSign team based in Sydney. As we kick off, I know as business leaders, you have an almost unending list of priorities. But from the hundreds of conversations I've had this year alone with our customers, particularly at this current point in time, they seem to revolve around how do you drive more revenue, getting more efficient with your spending, reducing the amount of risk your business is exposed to. Most, if not all, are all also wanting to improve their customer and employee experience and make the whole business more sustainable. So the way we help our customers do this by delivering a modern and efficient agreement process. Let's jump into that and talk about it in a bit more detail now. So we understand most companies have already digitized many of their agreements in some capacity. But typically that doesn't go beyond turning them into a PDF. The problem with PDFs is they're really just a picture of a paper agreement. They're a static document, which means rich contract data and metadata like terms, obligations, SLAs, quoting information, even simple things like products, pricing, and contract start and end dates are trapped and unusable unless you get a human involved. In an ideal world, you'd be able to unlock that data and use it. So for example, you should be able to answer questions about specific contracts, like whether a contract you just signed has any high risk terms you need to be aware of, or you may want to know if there are any SLAs that you need to uphold. You should also be able to zoom out and answer questions about all of your contracts, as an aggregate, like what are the top 10 contract risks you face as a business? Or are there any terms that are preventing deals from closing quickly that you could change without introducing additional risk to the business? And you should be able to integrate that data to automate and streamline important steps in your core process. So for example, automating things like account provisioning, notifying your team, they need to take action, or automatically creating contracts and quotes and invoices. All of this is either impossible or impractical if that data is trapped inside a static document. So you need a way to capture the critical agreement data. So when you unlock this information, you make better business decisions and eliminate unnecessary work. Again, leading to more revenue, lower costs, and reduced risk to your business. So what does a better version of this look like? Here's where we're taking a look at, say, quoting, a sales quote example, a process end to end, but with a focus on some agreement-specific activities that happen both before and after that quote gets signed. So, like I said, you've obviously got to prepare that quote somehow. Well, if instead of manually generating that agreement, all you have to do is click a button in a system, like Xero, for instance, or another, CRM as an example. But obviously we're looking at Xero today, so that's a big focus for today's session. And all the right terms, as well as product and pricing information, was automatically populated. Better yet, if it happens in a fully automated way without needing to even click a button. What if verifying a customer's ID was as simple as snapping a picture of their phone instead of faxing and scanning, for instance? What if negotiating was centrally tracked? Terms and conditions were centralized and standardized, and deviations were automatically flagged? What if approvals were conditionally routed to the right people for approval? And after that agreement gets signed, you could automate important downstream actions like account provisioning or other processes that might happen downstream. You obviously want to be able to find that agreement. So it should be in a single, secure repository that's built specifically for agreements. You should be able to access the data in those agreements. They should be available to you to drive additional automation and to answer business critical questions using artificial intelligence. So finally, all of this should be integrated and connected to other platforms you use to run your business, like Xero. Hopefully this is giving you a bit of an overview around what DocuSign does as a larger scale. When we look at the entire agreement process, especially what happens before and after we sign an agreement. Now I'll pass over to Gian who'll dive deeper into the Xero and DocuSign integration by Amaka. Over to you.
Thanks for that, Mo. Now, critical to the integration, we really wanted to maximize on DocuSign's already deep automation and secure execution processes. And the way that we did that was actually working with DocuSign in partnership to deliver the Xero integration. Now, this has obviously been delivered in partnership, and what that involved was us actually being able to leverage our knowledge of key Xero documents that small business owners or accountants really need to push for execution. And obviously, working with DocuSign's innovative execution platform, we really were able to achieve that, saving a lot of small businesses valuable time and money. So this integration between DocuSign and Xero comprises of a document sync. So that unlocks the automation of the execution process for 5 key documents, being invoices, quotes, bills, purchase orders, and expense claims, all which have very different uses across a business. And we really tried to cater for that within this solution. So this integration, as the graphic appears on the screen, is a bidirectional sync. And that means once a certain Xero document that has been chosen by the user has reached a certain status, so let's say an example would be quotes like Mo was chatting to before. If a quote has been approved over the phone by Mo for services that I'm going to offer to him, that doesn't really leave a very valid paper trail for me as a business when I do my books and record keeping later that year. So what the integration will actually do is it will automatically create a DocuSign envelope for that respective quote that Mo has accepted. The integration will then go through all the standard envelope procedures, and after Mo has received all the prompts, signed quite swiftly, we will then push that executed document back into Xero for record keeping purposes. So it's very end-to-end and covers the entire execution process. Now, like I mentioned, given the difference across the 5 different documents, our integration caters for a large degree of customization. And that's very important when delivering an integration that is aiming to cover the SME and also the accounting space. Now, I'll kind of take you guys through a high level overview of the typical user flow for the setup and also the execution process to give a more visual aspect to this. So as seen, one of the core features that Amaka offers is two key setup methods. We actually allow the small business owner or the accountant to set up the integration themselves and go through the onboarding journey as seen on the screen. Alternatively, we also offer a free guided setup, which is actually done on a one-on-one basis with Amaka's team of integration specialists. The first screen, as you can see, we actually allow the user to choose which documents will pass through the integration because we understand that the needs and requirements for different businesses alter greatly. So as seen on the screen, we've enabled purchase orders and quotes, and that will mean that they are the only two documents that this automation and integration operates for. The next step of the integration will actually allow the user to choose the envelope signer, because as you can imagine, this is a form of automation, meaning that we're trying to avoid the user needing to go to DocuSign every time they need a quote or purchase order signed. So we've created 5 different signing types that the user can set up within the Amaka dashboard that will be stored by Amaka so we can run this automation process for you. The first one being the Xero document contact. Now, this is really applicable for invoices and quotes as it's a dynamic field. Now, this will use the Xero information. Basically, it will use Mo's information for a quote that I send to Mo. If I'm sending a quote to Laura, it would take the email address of Laura and put that into the envelope programmatically. We've then also tried to cater for more internal documents. So Xero user or DocuSign user. That will actually allow myself to choose the different Xero users or DocuSign users that are within my organization. As an example, purchase orders. So if I need a purchase order signed off by my accounts team or my CFO, I'm able to set this automation loop up and it will basically fire that off on an ongoing basis. We've then also tried to cater for the edge case where a certain document may need to go to someone outside the business on a regular manner like your accountant. And that may fall outside of the 4 previous options. Now, the custom dropdown will actually allow you to specify an email address that each quote or purchase order will flow through to. The next step of this demo will actually show the different types of notifications and prompts that we actually wanted to allow the integration users to benefit from. So as seen, you can actually choose envelope specific settings and notification settings within the integration. So that involves you being able to turn on notifications so that your seniors or your business owner can actually be alerted when there's a change in that document envelope. You can get prompts when Mo opens up the envelope but maybe hasn't signed it. And that can actually lead to a prompt within your sales process to check in on Mo. Ask Mo why the quote hasn't been approved or if he's having any questions with that document. Now, the final type of notification will actually allow you to prompt Mo as a signer how often you want him to be reminded of the document. We understand that quotes and invoices are very important to a small business, especially when you're trying to get new deals over the line or trying to get paid. So what we actually enable is reminders to be sent to Mo to maybe notify him, hey, this envelope is still outstanding, please sign it. And one thing I did want to clarify is that all of these are actually done via DocuSign. So they are DocuSign specific triggers that the user on the back end, on the front end will see. Mo will not be engaging with Amaka or receive Amaka prompts. They'll all be done via DocuSign. Now, an example of the visual flow of this integration is something that I wanted to take you guys through. Now, as you can see, we're within my Xero dashboard and I'm issuing a quote out. So as you can see, what I've done within Xero is I've updated the quote to accepted as a status because I've just got off the phone with Mo. And now what I need to do is I actually need to have this envelope and quote sent out. So the way that this integration runs is every 15 minutes, Amaka will run a check on Xero to see which new quotes have been accepted within that 15-minute window and automatically pull them out and create the DocuSign envelope accordingly. These are the key triggers, and different documents will have different trigger statuses based on what the user chooses within the configuration settings. The next step will actually be Mo receiving a DocuSign prompt for the envelope, asking him to review the document and inevitably sign it should he agree with all the terms and conditions of that document itself. So this will actually push Mo to the DocuSign UI, where he'll actually be able to drop his signature. Now, one really cool feature about this integration is the auto sign feature that we really have leveraged with DocuSign's assistance. And that actually allows myself to specify where within the document Mo needs to sign. Now, this obviously makes for a much cleaner user experience, as we would not allow Mo to put his signature on top of the Amaka logo. It will actually specify within the document. And that's something that Amaka's team actually helps all customers set up as part of the onboarding session. So once Mo has signed the document, what the integration will then do is fetch the executed quote and place it back within the Xero attachment of that respective quote. One thing that DocuSign does really well is keeping audit trails. And it's something that the certificate of currency, as seen there in the summary PDF, will do for myself as a small business. That will allow me to see the complete flow of when I sent that document out, when Mo viewed it, and when Mo signed it. And as Mo mentioned, DocuSign also within their dashboard has analytics tools, which can show how quickly a document is signed on average, how many times someone has actually viewed a document before signing it, and I can then make further improvements to my execution and quoting system. So as you can see from that visual experience, we're really trying to automate the flow that I would otherwise need to export a quote, log into DocuSign, send it out to Mo, fetch that signed document, and post it into Xero myself. That can take, honestly, many hours. And as a small business owner, I don't have the time to do that. Now, something that is really important is we want to really show you guys that this integration is being used and it is adding a lot of value. I'm going to hand over to Mo to give a quick high level on one of our customer success stories from David, the COO of Autonome.
Thanks, Gian. That was a great overview. Now, we want to share how Autonome, a UK-based company that provides customized robotic process automation services, has been taking advantage of this integration between DocuSign and Xero, built by Amaka. Previously, the organization had to manually export agreements from Xero into a PDF format. They'd need to manually follow prompts for each contract, input important information manually, send the contract to customers for signing via a standalone electronic signature tool. After some investigation into some options, they discovered that DocuSign had a free integration with Xero, made by Amaka, in partnership. Basically, we built it in partnership. And what they told us is amazing, really. It's what David shared with us was, as an automation company, we naturally want to automate as much of our manual processes as possible. We saw this project as a necessity given its potential to improve productivity, save time, money, and energy for our 4-person team, a small business, essentially, growing small business. So that was a huge kind of takeaway that we got from David. David also shared his experience with the setup. The integration was extremely easy, and the support from Amaka was amazing. I had it running and was testing functionality within 5 minutes of the tool going live. I also spent time customizing the brand side of the portal, which only took about 30 minutes to have a complete look and feel based on his company's branding.
Yeah. And that's a great example, Mo, of how both Amaka and DocuSign really work together to bring the best user experience for this integration. We know that small businesses are always inundated with an abundance of new applications that can be quite daunting and time-consuming to set up. So what Amaka has devoted to all DocuSign and Xero users is a 24/7 support engine, which operates to all users on a one-on-one basis. So yeah, it was really nice to hear David share that experience when it comes to his experience with the customer support function.
Amazing. And that's definitely not the first time I've heard that. I heard that from many customers. The support is top notch. Now, the integrated solution saves or automates teams approximately 15 minutes per contract, with the entire process generally completed within hours. So, he essentially told us the entire process happens either within the same day, so either within 24 hours or maximum within 48 hours now. So prior to that, it was taking him 3 to 5 business days to get the client to sign. And then his own team would have to manually upload that back into Xero as well. So all of that, double handling of data and manual setup, that all goes away. It's completely automated now.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, Mo. And exactly what we're trying to do is minimize double handling and maximize efficiency across the small business and accounting space. Now, with that being said, I did want to open up the floor to Q&As. I can see a few questions within the Q&A box at the moment. The first one being around the current integration. So once the signed document is synced back to Xero, can a task be triggered in Xero as well? Now, triggering tasks within Xero can actually fall outside of the scope of the integration, but it's definitely something that can be done. So Xero typically allows certain triggers and tasks to be created based on document statuses. And that's something that our team of Amaka certified specialists and Xero certified specialists can give assistance with as well. I can also see a question in here about pricing. Now, the integration as a result of Amaka and DocuSign's partnership is offered 100% free of charge. So there is no additional cost for the integration to be used above the DocuSign and Xero subscription fees. Now, Mo, I'll let you talk to it, but this integration can be used by users on any tier of DocuSign, correct?
That's 100% correct. So, it's been designed for, like you said in the example, a 4-person business or all the way up. So, essentially, whatever tier of DocuSign you have, or you're looking at, subscribing to today, it can be supported by this integration.
Yeah, awesome. I can also see another question around the countries that this is supported in. Now, yes, this integration can be supported globally. The way that we've designed our integration is that the flow is consistent globally across any Xero and DocuSign tier. Obviously, noting the countries in which Xero operates in, DocuSign is quite literally global, but this integration is typically utilized across the AU, the UK, and US regions. I can also see a final question around this webinar. Now, yes, all registrants to the webinar will actually receive a digitized copy of this sent via email, and that will be sent as part of the post-webinar communications. I can't see any more questions. Anonymous, what is the cost? Is it buying a bundle or pay as you go? So this integration, there is no cost. There is no cost associated with this integration. Regarding, as I mentioned, the only fees associated with using this integration is actually the Xero and DocuSign subscription fees. And they are priced independently by both Xero and DocuSign respectively. So the automation is free. So with that being said, I just wanted to kind of close this out by giving, the viewers next steps. Now, the next steps will obviously vary based on the subscriptions that are currently in place. So for current DocuSign and Xero users, everyone that registers to this webinar will be sent some post-webinar communications around how to book a demo session with Amaka. We'll then obviously take you through the guided setup following the flow that I demonstrated just before. And before you know it, you'll be creating seamless agreement processes for your customers and staff to execute. Now, for those attendees that are yet to subscribe to DocuSign, again, it's obviously an amazing automation app. There's a few different steps for you that will also be communicated in the post-webinar communication plan, but that will involve actually you contacting DocuSign to discover what plan is right for you. Such a complex yet automated tool has very different prices depending on the type of functionality you require. And it's something that DocuSign can cater for all business shapes and sizes for. So once you have subscribed to DocuSign, that's when we'll then follow and offer an unlimited one-on-one support setup session for you to connect the integration and also start automating the execution process. So with that being said, I did want to thank everyone that's taken the time out today to attend the webinar. I also wanted to thank Mo for his time as well and representing the DocuSign team. And yeah, guys, we look forward to helping you all automate your execution process.
Thank you.